Hey everybody, so I actually want to show you this bracelet before I make another one for the video. This is the quick deployment Millipede bracelet, and I want to show you how it deploys before I actually go ahead and make this, just so you have an idea of what's going on here. Basically all you do when it's undone, don't worry about these two strands. These are going to be cut off when you make yours. So don't worry about those. But basically you're just going to grab hold of this. You're going to slide this down a little bit, just enough to get it going. And then you pull this through and all your paracord comes undone. Barely any twisting. And all you're left with right here are two slip knots. You just pull the slip knots out. And you've now got 14 feet up to, I guess you could go up to 20 feet. of good usable paracord, and all you're left with is your beginning, your cow's hitch. And now I'm going to get in to show you how to make it. I'm going to be using one of these shackles here. I can't remember the real name for these. I'm going to have these on the website pretty soon. I've got a bunch of these ordered, different sizes. But basically what I'm going to do, this is going to be a quick deploy bracelet. So basically you just pull on it and the whole bracelet just pulls right apart, right into two strands. And well, actually one strand. But what I've done, I've got about 14 feet, and I've got my center point right here between the two strands. So this is the center of the cord. I'm just going to feed that through, so it gives me a loop here. Fold that loop over, spread the loop open, reach through the loop, and then pull all your cord through that loop and pull that tight. And that's what we call cow's hitch. So you got your cow's hitch there. Now the hardest part about this is to get it started. And what you're going to do is, this is where you're going to measure. So if you're doing a 7-inch wrist, 8-inch wrist, you're going to measure from the end of the shackle here, and you're going to create a loop like this and go back up towards the top. So get all your cord up toward the top there. Alright, so now you're basically measuring from these loops here. So you've got two loops now at the end. You're measuring from those loops up to the end of the shackle here. And that should be your distance for the circumference of your wrist. And you want to go usually about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer than what the actual circumference of your wrist is, just because the paracord is going to take up some of that space. And then we're just going to run these cords right up to the top. Alright, so now we got basically we got one strand here with the excess coming off to the right, and we have another strand here with that excess coming off to the left. But we're going to treat this center, we're going to treat these two cords as one solid inner strand. And we're just going to start our tying right here at the top. And this is the hardest part about this. So take your right strand, go behind everything, okay, and then go, so you're actually gonna, oh, hold on one second here. Alright, so you got these loops down here. Okay, so sorry, let's see. Okay, so create a loop, take your paracord around the back, and then go through that loop. And get that all the way up near the shackle and pull it tight. And that's just a real simple half hitch. We're actually creating a bracelet very similar to this, the single Genoese. But instead of doing it the same way each time, it's going to kind of flip-flop, and that's what gives it the millipede effect. And I got to give a little bit of credit to my buddy Paintball Head, and I'll get his all his information will be in the description. He came up with this design, I guess. I got his permission to do this. He's been good to me, so give him a shout out, and I'll put I'll link to his video up in there too. He doesn't do one with the shackle, which I kind of like the shackle, so I was gonna do one with the shackle. Alright, so while I was talking I just did one of the knots. Alright, so now basically we went behind with the right side, so we're going to go behind with the left. Make sure you keep a loop on the left side, and then go down through that loop. Oops. Oh man, sorry about that, I got caught in one of my clamps there. And then go ahead and pull that tight. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Alright, so go ahead and pull that tight. And what you can do at this point now that you've got two of these nice and tight is put your finger through these loops here, and you can just cinch this right up to the shackle. Go right up tight to it. Alright, so now you did two that went behind. Now you're going to take it over top. So go over top, go around the back, and come up through this loop. So you're going to do two behind, two over, two behind, two over. So there's one over, and you want to cinch that up every time. So go over, around, through that loop. And get that nice and tight. There we go. And then this one's going to go behind, across, and down through the loop. So it's the same knot each time. This is going to give you a look of having the Solomon, and it'll make it look more like a regular bracelet. Oh yeah, go behind, around, and through that loop. But yeah, instead of having it look like the single Genoese, like you could have, by doing a bracelet that looks like this, you can make this one look very, very similar to just the standard, this, here it is, the Solomon, the regular Solomon. Alright, so I've got a few here. I'm going to do one more. I think I have to go over now, around and through. There we go. And then we got over, around, and through. And now for the next ones, you just keep alternating. So I went over, over, now you're going to do under, under. Around the loop and through each time. And as you go, this will look better and better as you get going. So I'm going to get down to the bottom here. Don't go all the way. If you're going to skip ahead, don't go all the way down. You want to leave a loop here so that the shackle can, you can still hook up to your shackle with those loops. And I'll also show you how to make it so that these don't go anywhere else. Okay, so I'm down to the bottom now. Basically done that millipede style tie all the way down. I left enough here so I could do one more loop, because we're going to have to do another loop. One more this way and one more this way, and still have enough to get your shackle through there. So now at this point what we got to do is we're just going to create a slip knot. So to create a slip knot, basically use your finger and wrap it around so that gives you a loop. And then cross over the loop as if you were going to tie an overhand knot. But instead of running the paracord all the way through, instead of pulling this all the way through like this, you're just going to pull it tight. And that gives you a slip knot. Now what we need to do though is get this tied closer down to the bracelet. So this knot has to go all the way, it has to butt up right against the bracelet. And then we can pull that tight. So just leave that for now and do the same thing on this side. Create a loop right by the base. So basically just bring this around, go over top, and then tuck a loop through that hole. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain how to do a slip knot. And then push the knot as close to the base of the bracelet as you can get it. If you loosen it, if you loosen up this knot, you can eventually make its way right to the base of that. Alright, so now we have 2 slip knots. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your slip knots here and you're going to thread these 2 loops here right through the slip knot, through that loop, and then you're going to pull that tight. And you're also going to do the same thing with this one. So you got the 2 loops here still. You're just going to take this loop, put the 2 loops through there, and then pull your slip knot tight. Alright. Now once those are tight, you can actually go ahead, snip your ends, just like you normally would. Snip the ends, melt them, and then you got your bracelet. Now to connect your bracelet, you undo your shackle, feed the shackle here through both of the loops, and then put your pin back in, just like that. And there you go. There's your quick deploy Millipede bracelet. And now to deploy this, what you're going to do, undo your shackle, pull the pin out, put the pin back in just to give you something to grip onto. And you're not going to worry about this end at all. You're just going to put your finger into the shackle, hold on to the bracelet, and you're just going to pull. And what's going to happen is it's going to pull these loops through. These loops that you had on the other end, it's going to pull those loops through, and then it'll start unraveling this end, and it'll unravel all the way down here. But that's basically it. Like I said, this is the Millipede design. Good friend of mine, Marcus, he's a paintball head on YouTube. I'll have his video link up in the description, so keep an eye out for that. And that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully I covered everything in this. This is great thing to have on your wrist, especially being quick deploy. You never know, you might need to do a tourniquet real quick, and this is the perfect way for that. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully this helped, and keep an eye out for my latest videos. Thanks.